It was raining when she showed up. Of course it was. Because that's how grief always begins, in clichés. In whether you can blame for the way your lungs won't expand. I didn't even ask how she got in. She was already sitting on the kitchen floor when I came home. Her shoes were off. Her dress was wet. Her eyes were empty. You heard? She asked. I nodded. Didn't trust my voice yet. Caleb was dead. My best friend. My brother in everything but blood. He wrapped his car around a pole 2 hours after I ignored his call. One missed call. That's all it took to rewire the rest of my life. She was his fiancée. They were supposed to get married in August. Instead, she was here. In my house. In my kitchen. In her grief, but not alone. With me. She didn't cry. Not at first. She just stared at the floor like it owed her an answer. He left the ring on the counter. She whispered. I didn't know what to say to that. I don't think I was supposed to say anything. So I sat beside her. Didn't touch her. Didn't speak. We sat in that silence for maybe an hour. Maybe 3. Then, suddenly, she pressed her face against my shoulder. No warning. No build-up. Just skin against cotton, breath catching in her throat. He called me first, she said. I went cold. What? Before you. He called me first. I let it ring. Her voice cracked, sharp and broken like a snapped violin string. I was mad. Over something stupid. And now he's gone. She started sobbing. Loud, wet from the stomach. The kind of grief that shakes the walls. I should have moved. Should have pulled away. Should have reminded myself who she was, what she meant to him, what she represented. But I didn't. I let her cry into me. I wrapped my arm around her and let her shatter. Because part of me needed to believe we were mourning the same ghost. Even though something about her grief felt different. Hungrier. She stayed. That night. On the couch, wrapped in my hoodie, curled up like a kid who'd just survived a house fire. I didn't ask her to. She didn't ask permission. She just didn't move. I barely slept. Sat in the armchair across from her and stared at the TV, muted static, just to have light in the room. Around 4 a.m. she stirred. Looked at me through half-lidded eyes. Do you think he meant to do it? She asked. I didn't answer. Because I didn't know. Because I was afraid of what I thought. She nodded like I'd spoken. I think he did. I think he wanted to punish me. Then she closed her eyes again. And I just sat there, with those words echoing inside my chest like a bomb that never went off. She stayed the next day, too. Said she couldn't go back to their place, not yet. Said his mother was calling nonstop. Said she needed space. I offered the guest room. She ignored it. Stayed on the couch. But every time I walked into the room, she looked at me like she expected something. Like I owed her something. Not comfort. Not safety. Witness. That evening, she brought wine. Said it was his favorite. We didn't toast. Just drank. And at some point, her hand was on my knee. I told myself it was the grief. That she didn't mean anything by it. But she left it there. For too long. And when she leaned in, half drunk, eyes soft, mouth trembling like she was about to cry again, I turned away. Don't, I said. Not angry. Just tired. She sat back. Smiled. Not embarrassed. Not hurt. Just amused. Like she knew something I didn't. You think I'm broken, she said. I think you're grieving, I replied. She stood. Walked to the hallway. Paused. Then, over her shoulder, without looking at me. I was grieving before he died. And then she went to bed. In my bed. Guest room untouched. I didn't follow. But I didn't sleep either. Because something about that line didn't feel like pain. It felt like a confession. And I didn't know what the hell it meant. The funeral was 3 days later. Closed casket. They said the impact was too much. They said it was peaceful. They said a lot of things to make us feel better. None of them stuck. I sat in the third row. Behind his family. Beside her. She didn't cry. Not during the service. Not when his mother collapsed into his father's arms. Not when the slideshow played that photo of the three of us in Tahoe, summer, shirtless, drunk off cheap whiskey. Caleb with his arms around both of us like we were his entire world. She just stared straight ahead. Hands folded in her lap like a statue at a museum. Perfect posture. Perfect silence. After the service, people came up to us. To her, mostly. Soft hands on her shoulder. Soft voices. She's being so strong. I don't know how she's handling this. She was his angel. I almost laughed. Because I'd seen her the night before, in my kitchen, eating cereal in her underwear like she'd always lived there. She picked out a new coffee mug from my cabinet. Moved my favorite chair to the corner. Started folding my laundry without asking. Grief didn't look like stillness. It looked like control. Like claiming territory. One drawer at a time. After the reception, his cousin pulled me aside. Emily. Sharp, no bullshit type. Said, "She's staying with you?" I hesitated. Then nodded. "She didn't tell anyone. Not even his mom," she said. "We thought she was at a friend's." I shrugged. Didn't know what to say. Didn't want to admit I hadn't asked her what she told people. Emily leaned in. Lowered her voice. "Look, I don't want to start anything. But Caleb, he used to say something wasn't right. That she changed. That she'd get real quiet and cold sometimes. Like she was watching him instead of loving him." I felt something coil in my stomach. Tight. Familiar. "He said," she continued, "sometimes I think she's just waiting for me to fall apart." I didn't go home right away. Drove around for hours. No music. Just the sound of my own thoughts scraping against bone. When I finally walked through the door, she was there. In my hoodie. On my couch. Eating the sandwich I left in the fridge. Like she lived there. Like this was hers now. She looked up and smiled. "You okay?" And I swear to God. That smile wasn't sympathy. It was patience. Like she was waiting for something. Or someone. To break. It was raining again. Same pattern, same smell, that wet asphalt stink that makes everything feel too quiet. I came home soaked, half hoping she'd be asleep. She wasn't. She was on my bed. Not in it, on it. Sitting cross-legged, candles lit, my shirt pulled over her thighs like she didn't notice it was mine. She'd opened a bottle of something red. Half gone. When she looked up, I saw it. Not grief. Not pain. Something else. She patted the bed beside her. "I want to talk," she said. I didn't move. Didn't take off my jacket. Didn't sit. "About what?" She blinked. Slowly. Like she couldn't decide how honest she wanted to be. "About him." My throat went dry. She sipped her wine, set it down. And then, "He cheated on me." I laughed. Couldn't help it. Just one sharp, ugly bark of disbelief. She didn't flinch. 6 months ago. With someone he met at the gym. He confessed, cried, begged. And I stayed. I couldn't look at her. "But after that," she said, "it stopped feeling like love. It felt like debt." I sat down. Couldn't stand anymore. She turned toward me, legs folding into herself. "You know what the last thing he said to me was? Before he drove off that night?" She paused. "You don't make me feel like a man anymore." She let the words hang there like rot. I asked, because I had to. "Why are you telling me this?" She looked straight through me. "Because you always made me feel real." Then she reached for my hand. It was small. Soft. Familiar. But it felt like poison. I pulled away. Not fast. Not harsh. But enough. She didn't look surprised. "Do you blame me?" she asked. I should have lied. Should have said no, but I just looked at her and said, I don't know what you are anymore. She nodded. Once. Neither do I. Then she got off the bed, left the room, closed the door without a sound. And I sat there, breathing like someone who'd just outrun a fire, knowing the smoke would still catch me eventually. Because here's the thing. If what she said was true, then he died thinking no one believed in him. Not even me. And if she was lying, then I was sleeping beside something I didn't understand. She banged on the door like she owned the house. 10 in the morning. No warning. I opened it in sweats, half awake, headache crawling behind my eyes like something trying to get out. It was Caleb's mother. Eyes swollen. Coat soaked. Holding something in her hand. She didn't say hello. She pushed past me. Walked straight into the living room like she'd done it 100 times when we were kids. And there she was. Sitting on the couch. Wrapped in a blanket. Holding my coffee mug like it had always belonged to her. They locked eyes. And everything in the room stopped. His mother didn't scream. Didn't throw anything. She just stared. Then, quiet. So it's true. She turned to me. You let her stay? But there was no sentence that started with that and ended with dignity. She held out what was in her hand. A letter. Wrinkled. Faded. Caleb's handwriting. I found this in his glove box. I took it. Read it. It wasn't addressed to anyone. Just words. Stream of consciousness. Raw. I feel watched. Not in a paranoid way. Just like I'm on trial in my own house. She doesn't yell anymore. She just waits. Like she's daring me to mess up again. I miss being happy. I miss being me. If I disappear, tell them I tried. I nearly dropped it. Because I remembered that night, the one he died. He called me. I didn't pick up. And she said she was mad at him. Over something stupid. But maybe it wasn't stupid. Maybe it was the last crack before the collapse. His mother turned to her. You broke him. Still no yelling. Just fact. Like reading a headline. She didn't deny it. Didn't even cry. She just said, he was already broken. And I think that was the moment I knew. This wasn't grief. This wasn't survival. This was strategy. That night I packed her things. Didn't tell her. Just folded everything neatly. Set the box by the door. She came home late. Eyes glossy. Hair damp from the mist. Saw the box. Looked at me. You want me gone? I didn't answer. I didn't have to. She stared at me for a long time. Then picked up the box. As she walked out, she said one last thing. You were always his. I just borrowed you. And then she was gone. But not out of me. Not yet. The house was quiet again. Too quiet. That dangerous kind of silence that makes your brain start rewinding every conversation, every choice, every breath you took, like maybe you could edit it all into something less devastating. I walked around like the place didn't know me anymore. Couch still warm from where she used to sleep. Coffee still smelled like her cinnamon creamer. But she was gone. And somehow, that didn't make me feel lighter. It made me feel found out. I sat at the kitchen table. Laid out the letter from Caleb. Read it 5 more times. His handwriting had always been messy. Like he was in a hurry to say things before he lost the courage. And that letter? It read like a man mid-drown, trying to convince himself it wasn't too late. And I let it happen. Because I was busy. Because I was tired. Because I thought he'd call again if it really mattered. I thought he'd always call again. I went to his place. It was still sealed up, the landlord hadn't touched it. I used the spare key he gave me 2 years ago, the one I kept on my ring without ever really thinking I'd use it. The air smelled like dust and old pizza boxes. But it also smelled like him. I walked through the apartment slow. Like I was afraid I'd trip over his ghost. Bedroom untouched. Sheets still wrinkled. Closet half empty. On the nightstand. An old Polaroid. Me, him, and her. 4th of July. She's got her arms around both of us. We look drunk. Happy. Sunburned. But Caleb's smile. Now I see it. That flicker of something not right behind the eyes. The way his shoulders leaned away from her, not toward. She didn't ruin him. She didn't need to. We all did. With our silence. Our distractions. Our fucking busyness. He was shouting without raising his voice, and none of us listened. I didn't see it. Or maybe I didn't want to. Because if I did, then I'd have to admit the worst part. That I wasn't just mourning my best friend. I was mourning the version of me that deserved him. I was driving when it hit me. Not a car. A thought. A memory. A weight I hadn't named until that exact second. We were 17. Camping trip. Drunk off warm beer and bullshit confidence. Laying on our backs in the grass staring up at nothing. And Caleb, out of nowhere, said, "You ever feel like no one really knows you?" And I said, "You mean like your girlfriend?" And he laughed. But it wasn't a real laugh. It was that kind of sound people make when they're agreeing with pain. And then he looked at me. Not like a friend. Not like a brother. Like I was the only person left in the world who might understand what he meant, even if he never said it out loud. I never told anyone that. Because I didn't know what to do with it. But now it was everywhere. In every memory. In the way we touched shoulders when we passed each other on tight staircases. In the way his voice always got softer when it was just me and him. In the way he pulled me aside at his engagement party and whispered, "Don't let her change me too much, okay?" I think I was in love with him. Not the way movies tell you to be. Not in a way I even understood at the time. But it was there. And she knew. Of course she did. She always watched us too closely. Smiled too wide when we fought. Touched me too long when he wasn't looking. It wasn't just about possession. It was about removal. She didn't just want him. She wanted me gone from his center. And when she couldn't get that, she took him down with her. Or maybe she didn't. Maybe he jumped. Because love gets heavy when no one says it out loud. And I never said it. Not once. And now it's just me in the silence, realizing too late that the person I lost wasn't just my best friend. He was the only person I ever truly loved without needing to earn it. And I never told him. Because I didn't think I had to. Now I do. I deleted the photos. Not in a fit of rage. Not because I hated him. Because I couldn't stand the way he looked at me through the screen. Like he was still waiting for me to say something. I boxed up everything else. The old hoodies. The ski pass. That stupid bobblehead he got me when the Bears lost in 17. Didn't throw it away. Didn't burn it. Just put it in the attic. Let dust keep it company. The house is quiet again. I stopped leaving the bedroom door open. Stopped waiting for the bathroom light to flick on at 2 a.m. Stopped waking up thinking I heard his laugh. She texted me. Twice. First time. "Do you hate me?" Second time. "I think I miss you. But I don't trust that feeling." I never replied. Not because I'm strong. Because I'm done. Whatever she was to me. A ghost, a thief, a warning. She doesn't exist anymore. And maybe I don't either. Not the version of me he knew. Not the version that could sit on a rooftop with him at midnight and believe the world was survivable. I started running again. Same trail we used to take, before life started folding in on itself. I run until my chest burns and my mind empties. I run past the old bridge where he once dared me to jump into the lake in February. I didn't do it then. Still wouldn't. But I remember the way he laughed when I almost did. He wasn't perfect. But he was mine. And now he's gone. Not because she broke him. Not because I failed him. Not because of one bad night. He's gone because love doesn't always save people. Sometimes it just sits in the corner and watches them fall. I don't keep pictures of him anymore. But he's still there. In the ache. In the silence. In the person I almost became. And that's the truest thing I can say. There's no revenge. No justice. No healing arc. Just one less voice in my world. And the long echo of everything I never said.